Hello and welcome to Embracing Extraordinary podcast. I'm Deirdre.
And I'm Jody, and we're here to create a space for you to explore, expand, and embrace that extraordinary exists, is possible, and how extraordinary you truly are.
To hug, hold, accept, and embrace it to create your most extraordinary life.
Welcome to part 2 of our conversation around exploring the concept of limits, how they can manifest in our everyday lives and can impact our ability to create. In this ep, we dive deeper into what we feel is the secret sauce for living more unlimited, freely, and fully. If you haven't already, be sure to tune into Ep.10, which lays the foundation to this conversation. Now though, for Ep.11, let's go. And so what is Unlimited, D?
So Unlimited is the program that we're working on. And I think that some of the reasons that I believe as well that we need this program is that what we're seeing is that people are tired of feeling kind of stuck in the same old. And they're working really hard, but they're not achieving what it is that they want to achieve. So when I look at what some of my clients are experiencing too, they're really stuck in this hustle culture. And my belief is that that's really outdated. And what I'm learning as well is about really being able to align my energy. And that helps to really create the results that I'm wanting to achieve. And, we're talking about fear. And I think fear is still one of the biggest silent roadblocks to people's success. So really starting to understand more about that, because success should feel good and people want to thrive, not just tick off a list of things that they want to achieve. And we believe that it's time for lasting change, sustainable change, not just having these temporary kind of breakthroughs that people are having. So Unlimited is about so many things, but it's about living fully, breaking out of some of those self-imposed barriers and stepping into their extraordinary. And it tackles some of those unforeseen circumstances that keep people feeling stuck at that glass ceiling, or self-worth challenges, or I'm not good enough, or whatever it might be. So it's really about understanding that inner resistance as well. And I think for me, one thing that was really important was that I want to shift from just existing. And I see in this current culture that so many people are just existing, and it's like Groundhog Day, but over and over and over again. And there's so much more beautiful experiences in life. So we want to, really shift from just existing to thriving, and knowing that it's actually possible as well. So that's kind of some of the things that I want to share about what Unlimited is. And the other thing that I'm really finding, and I know this in theory intellectually, but I'm really starting to embody this myself, is how this approach can move us from forcing things to happen to really being in flow, and from that real hustle culture to really aligned action, so that we're not experiencing burnout. We're really allowing ourselves to thrive. And I believe that it's absolutely possible. So, Jodes, for you, how is Unlimited, the program that we're developing, relevant now?
This, honestly, is a program that I wish existed. And so I want to create it. It's a program that, honestly, it helps to move from, one, understand the parts of the human puzzle that it is. We've talked about this. We're being human, working out what it is to be human is a bit of a puzzle, really. And so this is sort of putting together all the pieces of a puzzle for that person who has the dreams, who has the desires, whatever they are. For me, particularly right now, it's using my voice, helping people realize they're extraordinary, helping people realize their dreams, turn them into reality, be healthy, be well, be inspired, have more aliveness, more legacy, all of those things. But they get to a certain point and it plateaus. Or fear, you mentioned fear before, or fear keeps holding them back. Fear is part of the process. It's
Correct.
absolutely part of the process. And the trick is, and what I'm really learning, because I have fear come up for me regularly with these things. And whenever we're stretching, whenever we're moving, whenever we're trying to achieve more, it's normal, a bit of fear because it's not familiar. And sometimes it's a lot of fear, sometimes it's less. And so part of the Unlimited program is to help move beyond it, become unstuck, liberate, light up, and achieve it. Like, really go for it, but do it in a space with a relaxed nervous system and also with the energy to match it. So, really, you can do it.
Mm.
You can absolutely do it. And so, that's sort of the inspiration and yeah, like the whole inspiration and the energetics behind it for me. I've been able to find a program that is specifically for this. We're creating it. Like
Mm.
you mentioned, life is for living, honey. It's time to move
Yeah.
beyond just existing and claim it fully. And that's what it's about. And part of this program, one of the parts that we're really going to delve into is how fear does show up and the terror barrier. It's a Bob Proctor concept. We've heard Hannah Alonso Bartlett teach it a lot, and it's brilliant. And every time I've heard it, it's landed a little bit more. But that fear and what's happening in the unconscious mind and identity is very much a part of this as well, because we're wired as a particular identity right now. When we want to choose something new or go higher, athletes go through this a lot, these big aspirations. That's a whole new version of you required. It's belief systems and energy and all of that that's required to be there. So when you work out, well, here am I right now, that's who I need to be experiencing that. And often there's a mismatch within the nervous system for
Mm.
that because you're not quite there yet. And that can feel quite chaotic in the nervous system. And our nervous system is always wanting to try and bring us back to safety. So sometimes the safest way is stay where you are,
Yeah.
especially if that's a place that you can kind of cope with right now. So part of the process is working out, well, how do I actually work with that fear in a way that helps me rewire, reset my settings so that that does feel safe, so that I can hold myself in that and feel safe, and also not just safe, but I guess come alive with it as well and be able
Mm.
to go there, because part of the fear is being able to embrace it. I'm not a big fan of feel the fear and do it
No.
anyway, but it's more a case of how do you hold the fear? How do you nourish the fear? How do you work with the fear and take fear with you?
Yes.
That's another beautiful quote I heard from Carrie Azuma one day. Can you take the fear with you?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at, is acknowledging, okay, I might feel scared right now. And what inner part of me actually is really feeling scared? How do I take it with me? Because it's only when you take it with you and you can move with it, that's when the rewiring happens as well. And the other part of the rewiring that happens is reshaping that identity, is more getting into the energetics of it as well. And so we're looking at this from a multidimensional approach. And I think Hannah mentioned this in episode 8 when she's talking about multidimensional. We are multidimensional. And she talked
Mm.
about
Yeah.
truths being stacked. Like everything that people are teaching about manifestation, there's a lot of value in it.
Yeah.
Same with mindset, same with energetics. It's all worthwhile. It's all amazing. But the thing is, they're all parts of the puzzle. They're
Correct.
all parts of the human puzzle. So we also look at this from a multidimensional approach. How can you work with yourself as an entire being, as a whole being, holistically, to work on those parts of you, to nourish those parts of you, rewire those parts of you, to help you re-establish that new benchmark, or you said before, move beyond the ceiling, raise the glass ceilings,
Yeah.
because life's for living. Life is
Absolutely.
for living. It's not just about surviving. Survival first, of course, because we can't live and thrive if we're not surviving. So survival is always going to come first, but we want to help people, including ourselves. And this is so relevant. And I believe this is why we go through it, because we get to experience it first so we can share it. But we've
Yeah.
gotten to a point where all of these learnings and experiences that we've been through, it's like, well, it's time to share this now, to how to help
Absolutely.
people raise the limits, become unlimited. Sometimes that's going to be in really little things in life, and sometimes it's going to be really big. But these are the secrets, or the codes, the information, whatever you want to call it, that we've been able to learn and experience, that we're putting together in this really beautiful container that's going to help raise the bar on so many areas of life, all areas of life, if you want it to be. So, Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just going back and talking about fear, I absolutely love the way that Liz Gilbert talks about fear. She's an
Hmm.
author. She's written, I think it's New York Times bestseller, Big Magic. But, she talks about saying that fear will always be in the car with you, but it
Mm.
doesn't get to drive. And,
Mm.
she talks about a beautiful metaphor, thinking of your life as a road trip, and fear is always coming along for the ride. So you can't kick fear out because it's part of that human experience.
And we
But
need it.
absolutely. But fear doesn't get to touch the steering wheel, or choose the music or give directions. Fear can just sit quietly in the back seat and it doesn't have to make those decisions. It's so beautiful the way she talks about it. And, fear is a sign, I believe, that you're doing something that's meaningful. So
Mm.
instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, Liz talks about it as well as being a companion on your creativity and journey of growth. So, such a beautiful way to reframe
It's such a
fear.
cool way to look at it. Thank you. I love that. And I guess the other thing that that really makes me think of is fear is necessary.
Absolutely.
We need it. It's a hardwired biological response. We need fear. It's really, really necessary. But the trick is, I love that. Let it be your companion rather than driving the car or
Yeah.
driving the
Yeah.
ship, and really working out how to nourish yourself through it rather than letting it lead the way. Sometimes we do need to let it lead. I sort of retreated into a big cocoon a little while ago. I shut down my online business as it was and created a whole new way of being. But there was so much integration that I needed to go through and work through it so that I can reshape my wiring to come out again and do what it is that I'm here for. Like, it's handwritten in my heart, in my soul. And so I've had to do a lot of work to work out how do I actually work with fear to be able to do it. And it presents itself in lots of different sneaky, sometimes little ways. Yeah. Sometimes, like what you said before, the headache.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me, it can be the busyness or the reasons why I can't, or with money, the big bill that shows up when I'm all of a sudden making more money. And whether we want to call it fear or whatever it is, in one form or another, all of those little sneaky little ways that show up that can be
Mm,
our limits, they're really just our body's way to expressing the wiring that we are, or a
mm.
way to keep us safe and familiar, because the body loves familiar. That's what feels
Correct.
safe. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of the process. Mm.
Absolutely. It's that feedback loop, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
um, to what's going on. And once you can
yeah.
start to create space and look within, I think that's where that magic lies. And these are, some of the amazing things that we want to be able to support people with on the journey through Unlimited.
Mm. To create an extraordinary life, right? Because remembering that you are so extraordinary.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about the normal is extraordinary. There's nothing ordinary about you, but what might seem ordinary really is quite extraordinary. And life is for living, and let's live it. Mm.
Absolutely. So, on that note, anything else that you would like to say as a final sign off, Jodes?
What do I want to say? Just remember that you are extraordinary and that you have everything within you
Mm,
to create the life that you desire, the goal that you desire, the dream that you desire, whether that be great or small, whether it's be that you want to get through the day with some laughs today, whether
mm,
it's that you want to be able to earn more money, whether it's that you want to help nourish yourself through that headache and try and make sure that your body doesn't need to express itself with more headaches. Whatever it is, whether you're dreaming of something small or whether you're dreaming something of huge, if it is written on your heart, if you have the desire for it, that is life trying to express its way through you in some way. And if you can start to really understand who and what you are, what you're made of, what makes you tick, what
mm,
holds you back, what moves you forward, then anything's possible. The reason that you're dreaming of it means that it's possible in some way. And if you can embrace the extraordinary, beautiful, incredible, remarkable human being, spiritual soul that you are, and move beyond those limits, then the sky then gets to be the limit and there is no limit to the sky. So, yeah,
love that.
exciting. Yeah. How about you? Anything you would love to share?
Just that, like I was thinking last night, I've been doing, as we know, we use the metaphor of a puzzle, and I love doing
Mm.
puzzles. And I am being challenged at the moment with the most challenging of puzzles. And, just sitting with that last night and thinking about, instead of getting in that energy of frustration and, that inner voice, and I'm becoming so much more aware of what's that inner dialogue, because that's manifesting my reality. And,
Mm.
just catching it, it was saying things like, oh, this is way too hard. You can't do this. What did you go and buy one that's so hard? Like all of this stuff from. And just to be able to go, you know what? Thanks for that. But I'm choosing to reframe that to go, you know what? Actually, I can do this. And what is this teaching me? And it was teaching me patience to move through and be okay with being really challenged by different situations that come up. And then just getting into that energy of how would it feel if I could find pieces and,
Mm.
start to build that and shifting that. And oh my God, like I was able to, find quite a few pieces to that puzzle. And I just thought, wow, what a great lesson for me to really experience the shift in my energy when I really start to embody the energy of what I'm creating. And
Oh,
it's so simple, like so simple, and just playing with it and being a bit of a, experimenter in some of these, I suppose, laws or things that we're teaching. And it was so beautiful. And like this morning, I looked at my puzzle and went, yay, I found some more pieces.
that's so cool, G. And when you say that, do you know what it just makes me think of? You became open to it. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's the difference. Like when we've got these, unseen limits that we put on ourselves, we're closed to
Mm.
possibility. And when you just had that shift and you could look at it in a different way, you became open to the possibility. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what unlimited means. That is so beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you
And
so
I think
much.
it's the magic for me of what if, like I'm
Mm.
using the magic of what if. What if, you know, what if I can do this?
Yeah.
What if I'm great at puzzles? So that shift, and it's amazing because there was one piece that I couldn't get, and it was actually sitting right in front of me. Like when I
Yeah.
shifted that perspective
Yeah.
to that what if, I was able to see it. I just went, oh, okay, I get
It's
it.
oh, it's so beautiful. And look how excited we get. Like this is what becomes available when you're open to possibility. And I literally get goosebumps over my body watching you be excited about that because I can visually see and
Mm,
also sense and feel right now the shift that created for you when you could have that beautiful self-awareness and just be open
mm,
to what is available and the what if. It's beautiful. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
And this is something we're going to explore and really unravel and really put together the pieces of the puzzle in our beautiful up and coming program, Unlimited, which you can see how excited we are when we talk about this topic,
Mm,
that we are so delighted and being called forward by our own hearts and soul to be able to bring this to you and to the world. So if you're wanting to know more, please reach out. We'd love to start chatting with you about it right now because it's gold. Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's those simple little 1% shifts
Yeah.
that can make.
Become massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I love is that I'm really starting to shift from intellectually understanding it to really embodying these learnings and practices. So we're so excited to share it with you.
Mm.
Thank you,
All right.
Jade.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you also to our beautiful listeners for listening. We really hope that this conversation has inspired you in some way and dare to embrace your extraordinary and really start to ponder what if, what if
Mm,
this was possible too? So,
love that.
yeah,
Thank you.
lots of love.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us. We hope this conversation has inspired you to start to explore, expand, and embrace that extraordinary exists, is possible, and how extraordinary you truly are.
If you loved this conversation, we would be so grateful for you to share it with the people in your world who you think might love to hear it. Please leave a review to help us reach more extraordinary people like you and turn these ripples into waves.
Until next time, remember, you're extraordinary. Dare to embrace it.